It's the Weekly Feed. I'm Kyle Meredith, joined by the Whigs. Guys, hi, welcome. Yes, it is a moment. Could have been the slow, I like the slow clap a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like someone rises, someone goes. I don't feel like it's been all that long since we saw you guys, because Enjoy the Company, I know you were working on it a bit of time before it, but it really came out at the end of 2012, and here we are at the beginning of 2014, so this isn't the usual song cycle. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's a little quicker turnaround for us, but it'll still be about 18 months in between albums. So.
Yeah, so I guess it works out in the end math.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's because you guys are complete hard workers. I mean, I think you get that reputation all the time that the Whigs are always out, always on tour. You've always got something going on. So there is a new record on the way. When did you start working on it?
Pretty much immediately after we recorded the last one. You know, just it's always inspirational right when we get done doing an album. You want to just keep writing and keep moving. So
yeah. Do you guys ever take the long breaks? Is there any of that where you say, all right, we're going to take 6 months off. We can't do this right now. We need to get away from each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what profession, you know, or at least I haven't found one where you get to take like 6 months off and like I'm just not going to go to work for 6 months.
I mean, I guess you got to be to a certain level in rock stardom.
Yeah, we're not to that.
To be able to follow. Does anybody still carry like side jobs or side gigs outside of the band at this point? I mean,
pretty full time.
Yeah. Are you well beyond that mark at least?
Yeah, well beyond is maybe, I don't know about that, but
there's certain markers of success that you have to etch off, and you have to celebrate those.
Yeah.
You're never going to celebrate anything. So
absolutely,
the fact that you don't get off here and go back to a construction job at some point, like that's a level of success.
Absolutely,
yeah, for sure.
So what's the story behind this new record then? Producer, where did you record it?
Yeah, we recorded it in Valencia, outside of LA, with a guy named Jim Scott. Who we haven't worked with yet, and it was fantastic. Knocked the record out really fast and had a great time, and it comes out in April 22nd.
So what is it like, the search for a producer like for you guys then? Because you've kept it pretty varied, right? Every album. I mean, there's never been a point where you say, we've got to do that again. I mean, is that it? Are you afraid that one producer will give you too much of the same, or are you always looking for that change? I mean, what led you to this new one?
Yeah, I think it's just... you know, you always learn a lot from these guys, and it's always exciting just to meet somebody new and, you know, get to hang out for a little while and learn from who they've recorded with and pick up stories. And we've been fortunate to work with great people every record. So, I don't know, I guess it's just been a natural evolution to work with somebody different each time.
Yeah, and I think it pertains to the songs. So if we have a new batch for the new album, you know, of course, we're a rock band, we're kind of writing in that vein all the time, but if the songs feel this way or that way, we might lean towards, you know, a certain producer for that album.
Right.
So, and like Parker said, it's a wealth of knowledge that we just become sponges for the session, however long. Just hanging out with these guys is incredible.
So, but you can go into the record like thinking a little bit about your direction then, if you're looking for the producer that kind of matches up.
Exactly.
So what comes with this one then? I mean, is it a change in direction? Like the last one was kind of known for being a little bit brighter, you know, you could hear a bit more glam in it. I mean, it was a fun record. It was a really fun record. Do you stay the course there, or is this going to be another turn?
I don't know. It's always really hard to, I think, to predict how it's going to hit people's ears.
Yeah.
You know? I'd say it's probably the most raw and I think maybe the most rockin' album.
Yeah, we cut it all. For the most part, it's all live.
Yeah,
there's very few overdubs. And Jim, one of the first conversations we all had with him, we brought up that idea of getting the band in a room and just cutting it all. You know, all in a take, hopefully, and he got really excited about that. So I think that's, in a way, maybe what Jim brought to the table was his eagerness and enthusiasm to like just get us in a room and throw some mics up and play the songs and cut it and knock it out. Like Parker said, we did it really, really quick, and working fast kind of keeps the energy high, keeps it at sort of a constant high energy sort of experience, rather than tracking one song and then maybe let's track the drums, and you do a week's worth of drum tracking and then you come back and do the guitar or the vocals or whatever. that's a little bit of a it's pretty boring doing it that way.
Yeah, I know every project seems to be different, and whatever calls for it. But I'm always amazed at how some bands are really afraid of the whole tracking it live thing.
Yeah,
like we have to build it by pieces.
Yeah, or it requires a certain amount of preparation for you to be able to cut it that way.
Yeah. But I guess that's to me that's what makes a good band. If you can go in there and you can kind of hone in on it, walk in and knock it out. I mean, back in the day, that was the only way you could do it. So if you were gonna be a recording band, you had to be ready before you went into the studio.
Yeah, that's exactly that's what we know, and all the records that we grew up listening to were recorded that way. So why not do it that way?
So this is album number 5, right?
Yes.
It seems like you guys are kind of building towards your grand statement at some point. I mean, consistent album after consistent album.
Hell yeah.
Does album 5 mean anything specifically at this point? Is it I'm not trying to brush it off as like, oh, it's just another record in the canon of the Whigs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you start getting up to this point, it almost seems like are you writing a masterpiece or are you building towards it?
Right.
So where does this one lie? How is this one perceived in that sort of way?
I don't know. It's not out yet, so it's always just hard to tell. I mean, we certainly feel great about it, and I'd say it's a culmination of everything we've done as a band up until this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, so there was a song on the last record, "Rock and Roll Forever." I mean, we talk about the grand rock bands of all time, and maybe the Who is too easy to pick on this one because they built up and suddenly it's a rock opera. I don't know if you guys are ever going to write a rock opera, if that's ever on the table or anything. But you write songs like "Rock and Roll Forever." I mean, I think there was a point a few years ago where I started to wonder. I mean, being a rock fan too, I started to wonder of like just rock's place in it without the gimmicks. Radiohead going one far direction one way, and kind of wondering like where is a solid rock band going to stand? I mean, you Buds and Kings of Leon, that they've been able to kind of push through and be that kind of band. Right. But when you're out there working, I mean, do you ever feel kind of that push? Like, do we have to have a gimmick now? Do we have to do something with our sound to change this? Can you push through as a rock band in 2014?
Yeah, I mean, all those things are kind of out of our control in a sense. I mean, it's always just been the artistic vision of the band to be a rock band and to be a gimmick-free group, and just to be straight ahead and true to what we feel like we should be doing. And then, as far as our place, that's just up for other people.
Oh, for the critics. Yeah, for the critics to put in there. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny you say gimmick-free, but in a day where everyone seems to, it's almost in that reverse psychology sort of way where you're one of the only ones who are just playing it straight ahead. It's almost like in that reverse way that becomes the gimmick.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. No gimmick is our gimmick.
No gimmick is your gimmick. All right. I can't wait to hear the new record. You say it's out in April?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll look forward to it. The Whigs. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Cool. Guys.
Appreciate it.
All right.